What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to revisit the Mizuno Made in Japan Alpha, and I'm very excited for one particular reason, and that is the sizing of this football boot. So hopping straight into the unboxing, you get a very basic black box with the Made in Japan products. Of course, you have the Made in Japan with the Running Bird logo here, but other than that, it's a pretty basic box. Here on this size, you can see this is a US 9, which if you guys haven't seen my review that I did on the December 5th, it was the original launch colorway, that beautiful blue, and I actually got an 8.5. So I had originally been instructed to go down half a size, which is actually lengthwise fit pretty well. It was a little bit tight, but I'm actually gonna go up half a size because I really feel like if I have a little bit of space on the end of these boots, these actually might fit super well. So this is obviously the Mizuno Alpha Japan in Made in Japan model, and it's a Japan 27, UK 8, and a Euro 42. Without further ado, let's hop into it. You guys know how I feel about these Made in Japan Mizuno bags. I think they could do a lot better with the amount of money you're paying for these, which I believe retail for about $320, $300, somewhere in there. It's even more expensive in Europe, even though the Made in Japan products in Japan itself is actually not that expensive, which is crazy to me. And oh my Lord. So this is a new colorway. This is not a new colorway as in the launch of this color. This color came out a little while ago, but this is, holy moly, the first time that I'm actually seeing this football boot. And I gotta tell you, I am a huge fan of black football boots, and this chameleon multicolor effect that they've done with this in the green, blue, and purple looks absolutely sensational. Wow. What a fantastic looking football boot. I have sung praises of the Alpha. Mizuno products in general tend to be some of the best quality on the market, especially the Made in Japan models, and the fact that you get the option for the Elite models at the $200 price point is pretty ridiculous given how exceptional those Elite models are as well. This obviously being the Made in Japan model that retails for that $300 price point. So the Alpha, just in general, I'm actually gonna just take this little tag off. These little tags you get basically explain the heritage of the Mizuno brand and how it started a long time ago, and they have a focus in the early 1910s on quality sports products that are really made for durability and long-lasting performance, which is absolutely fantastic. So here's, that's a little care instruction sheet for you guys as well. So really beautiful football boot. The Alpha came out last November, December, I believe, and they were a smash hit for most people. I think everybody was really looking forward to a boot like this that is a fully synthetic upper compared to a lot of the other boots they have, which are all have pieces of kangaroo leather. Something like the Morelia Neo 4 betas that just came out. Those will also, I'll also review those ones very soon as well. I think, in fact, that review will probably come up before this one will. But that boot I'm very, very excited for, and I actually got the sizing correct on that one as well. So I'm hoping that this 9 US fits me because I really do like the Alpha. So the Alpha has a couple different tech specs that I want to go over today. The Engineered Fit Last Neo, which is the same shape as the Neo 3. So the regular Neo 3 and Neo 3 Beta share a very, very similar shape to this, with obviously this being a synthetic upper rather than a leather forefoot with the synthetic leather in the midfoot, and in the Beta's case, the knit material here. You've got a construction here, which is the normal U-throat tongue, which is great for adjustability and making sure that the foot really gets in there and is the boot adapts to the shape of your foot as well. The other thing that I really like about the Alpha is that they do add these 2 lace holes. There you go, you can see it in the reflection there. So those 2 lace holes here can be used for a runner's knot, which is a great tool to use when you have a boot that maybe has a little bit of gap here on the lateral side of the ankle. That's something that I really is like a pet peeve for me, because you can get turf pellets in there and it looks kind of awkward and stuff. But when you have that runner's knot, you can really pull this tight and flush to the side of your ankle, which I really appreciate. And to be honest, this is one thing that I wish more boot manufacturers would do. I think in the future we will start to see more and more of this, because it really doesn't do anything to the upper. It's the same, it's basically just punching another lace hole in there, but it does add an extra level of adjustability that is really nice for a lot of football boots that I think would be awesome. You've obviously got a fully synthetic layered upper that carries a couple different layers to it. You've got the mesh layer, you've got a little bit of stickiness on this outer layer, and then you've got a cage on the inside that's sort of a suede cage that follows sort of the same ideas and construction behind the Vapor and of course the new Crazy Fast series and stuff like that. That internal cage that's supposed to add some structure to the upper, especially one that is a fully synthetic upper. So that's something that the Alpha has as well. It's a really nice feeling cage too. You can see the little divots here as well in the upper as I turn it into the light, and these little raised bits is not only that synthetic cage or that suede cage on the inside, but it also adds a little bit of padding to the upper. It's still a very barefoot feel, but this does add a little bit of texture to the upper and a little bit of padding so that you have not quite the Crazy Fast Plus level of barefoot feel and sensation. You've got the Energy rear foot cushioning for extra energy propulsion. So my understanding is that that's a piece right here that goes into, and you can see the logo actually back here. So Mizuno Energy, hopefully maybe that comes through. There's a little logo right back here. So basically what that does is that Energy is supposed to give you a little bit of cushion and padding in that heel area to give you a little bit more propulsion as you plant and move forward on the pitch, which is a nice addition as well. There's a Carvo RS insole board, so that's a springy feel and fast acceleration. That's what it's supposed to give you. I don't think I can see the Carvo board. Oh yeah, I can. Okay. Let's see if we can get this unlaced really quick so you guys can get a good sense of what those look like. It's very, very similar. Carvo is the same material that's used on the Adler products. So the Adler products are some of my favorite on the market for leather football boots. I think those are the only boots on the market that rival the leather quality at least. There you go. That's a great look at it. So the Carvo starts right on the midfoot, so about right there, and goes all the way up through that forefoot area to give you a very springy feel. It's got, these Alphas have a really nice spring effect to them, something that I think is honestly a missed opportunity for a lot of other brands. So the Carvo insole is also used on the Adler products, and that definitely gives those a pretty springy feel as well, which is a nice sensation, especially on boots that are more classic feeling. I think that on a boot like this where the upper doesn't overstretch and gives you a really nice wrapped sensation, you're gonna get pretty good responsiveness just by the sake of the way that this upper wraps your foot. But I think from a sole plate construction, the Carvo really makes a difference on those leather football boots that give you, a little bit less of a responsive feel from the upper itself. The Zero Glide removable Alpha Mesh, quote unquote, sock liner you get from the grip is seen here. So this is that grip technology that is used on the insole. And then you also have that Zero Glide stuff right there. You can see it on the bottom, this little kind of sticky mesh on the bottom of the tongue and across the entirety of this heel area, which is absolutely unreal. I think this is one of those technologies that is such a small detail, especially in the insole here. So you get it essentially coated across the entire insole and then across this heel and on the underside of the tongue. It's a small difference in boots like this from the Mizuno Made in Japan products, but it really makes a difference compared to something in this same speed category like a Crazy Fast, any of the Crazy Fast line, the Vapor, the Ultra Ultimate, and those are just things that I think set Mizuno apart as far as attention to detail and stuff, which is something that the Mizuno brand does more than I think any other brand on the market. They really have an attention to detail, which is fantastic. You've got the triangle studs in addition to that Carvo and that Energy heel counter as well, or the bubble in the heel. So you've got these triangular studs, which actually remind me a lot of the sprint frame on the F50 Audi Zero, all the way up until 2014, I believe, and 2015. So those triangular studs are essentially just designed to give you good multi-directional movement and also pivoting power. So you're gonna have, it's not gonna be as aggressive as the star-shaped studs, which I know these look very similar to, but because these have a flat side and it's not a bunch of basically bladed or chevron studs in a little design, it actually does rotate this direction. Once you plant, it rotates directionally this way quite a lot better than those triangular studs you get on the Vapor and the GX. So that's something to keep in mind if you're looking for a pair of Alphas to go on an AG pitch especially. That's something that I would keep in mind, and why these should be kept in your rotation, or at least in your thoughts for that type of football boot if you're looking for a speed boot. These weigh in around 195 to 200 grams depending on your size, which is a very nice weight for a speed boot. It's right in there with the other speed boots on the market. As far as weight goes, you guys know from me, weight is not often what I look for in football boots. I don't really care that much about the weight so long as the shape and the fit of the football boot is the best. And I would encourage you guys, when you're looking for a pair of football boots, if you fit really well in a speed boot, that's fantastic. You can buy the lighter weight ones, but if you're somebody who is just looking for a boot that fits you the best, I would really highly recommend going for something that fits first, and then if there's 2 or 3 boots that fit you exactly the same, or they fit really, really well, and you are concerned about weight, then from there you can look at the weight and the features like the upper grip and all that stuff as well. This is a boot obviously that I have tried on, I have played with quite a bit. The reason I went with half a size up in my normal size 9 US for these is because the fit in the toe area and in the width for those 8.5 US just absolutely destroyed my feet. And that was something that I was really bummed about with the 1 month review. I couldn't really give a full score for that one. I know I did go through the whole rotation and really score everything, but I was really bummed that I didn't get a proper run in them, because I do think that this is a boot that really shines when it comes to performance and the attributes and the type of soft upper that it has. It's a really nice upper for how strong and locked in this synthetic feel is. So I am really excited to get the 9 US on feet, see how it fits and feels, of course test it on the AG and FG pitches, and hopefully the extra little bit of length that I get in the length of the boot isn't that much of an issue, and I can break in the width as well. So that's what I'm kind of hoping for, but more to say in the next portion of the video. Without further ado, let's hop into the on-feet portion of the video to test these out and see what the half size up at my normal 9 US actually feels like. All right, fam, out here with the Mizuno Alpha Japan. I am super excited to try these on in the 9 US. They look absolutely sensational in the regular sunlight, which is awesome. Let's get these straight on feet. So there you go. There's a good look at the Mizuno Alpha Japan. Really nice blue and red accents there. And then of course that crazy chrome type material over on the top to make it look super nice there as well. So let's get these on. I've got a pair of Nike grip socks on. For context, that's what I used for most of my unboxing videos, because they're the thinnest socks I can find and the ones with kind of the least amount of grip. So here we go. Oh my days. Well, okay. So this is really exciting for me because I really like the concept of the Alpha, and these fit with just a tiny bit of space on the end, which is about what the GX is, and about a couple other boots fit about that. But the sizing on the width is so much better than that 8.5 US. Maybe I just need to go 9 US for everything, and then if there's any boots that are a little bit longer, like the Puma. This definitely isn't as long, I would say, as the Puma Future Ultimate. That boot is exceptionally long. As you can see, I have done the little runner's knot here, so I'll show you guys how to do that. So it's just in and then down, and then you cross the laces. So I'm gonna get these pretty tight just to kind of get a good feel for what they are. They're squeezing my feet a little bit, but definitely not painful like that first 8.5 US was, which is pretty sweet. So that I am very excited about. I need to tighten these a little bit more. There we go. All right. Boom. So there you go. You can see how it sort of, the material now sits flush with my foot, which is super, super cool. So there they are. Oh my days, guys. So again, there's the space in the toe, little bit of space in the extra bit of a toe. I'm not usually a fan of that, but as I break these in, I'm hoping that they do fit really, really nicely around the outside of my feet so that the toe part will break in a little bit more. Let's get this other one on as well. Okay, boom, there we go. Yeah, awesome. I think the 9US is the way to go. For those of you who have really thin feet, I think going half a size down is probably just fine. If you do have a little bit wider feet, maybe I'd recommend going true to size with these. Just my experience with the first color edition, those blue ones, I just think that they were a little bit too small, and that's something that I just don't want to screw with, which is part of the reason why that 1 month review was a little, in my opinion, a little lackluster. I probably should have just said, hey, I'm not going to do a 1 month review, because testing that boot was an absolute nightmare. They made my feet hurt quite a bit. And I just don't think that's worth it at the end of the day. You know, I got a playing career to think about and stuff. And I do want to give you guys the best information. So that's why I wanted to revisit these boots and give you guys a good idea of what they feel like with a regular size. So there you go. All right. So here we go, guys. Those are the Mizuno Alpha Japan in a 9US in this really cool iridescent chrome colorway. I love the way these look. I think they are absolutely fantastic. I think the silo of this football boot is really nice. One of the things that I'm noticing straight away that I really appreciate about the Alpha is, number one, the stickiness that happens on the bottom side of this tongue, which is a huge deal, and then that zero glide both there and on the heel area and on the sole plate that gives you a really nice locked in feel. So when I'm pivoting like this, my foot doesn't move inside the boot at all, which is a huge deal for me. I love that that's a feature of the Alpha, and it really makes the comfort level of this heel area and kind of midfoot really secure, really snug without feeling super overly tight, which is a big deal. So there you go. There's what they look like on feet. Really nice with a black kit, I think, in my opinion. They're really a pretty comfortable boot for an all synthetic. I am really impressed with how these fit and feel on feet. Honestly, these might be a training, potentially even a game boot for me now that they actually fit my foot really well. A lot of some of the issues that I was having with the 8.5 US happened a lot in the front here. So because it was a half size down, there wasn't any space in the top of the toe, meaning that I had basically from here all the way down essentially crushed the crap out of the middle of my foot, which was not a nice feeling. But because this 9US adds a little bit of length and a little bit of width, it actually feels super tight and snug. And I know these are going to break in. You can see a little bowing here, but as they break in, they'll mold to my feet, and I'll be able to tighten the laces a little bit and really get a secure, comfortable fit, which is super exciting for me. I really think these are going to be an awesome pair of football boots to wear in training. As far as the sole plate goes, as I mentioned before, especially on AG pitches, those star-shaped studs you get on the Vapor and the GX FG models, those can be a little bit rough as far as turning, but for me, the pivot power of these triangular studs is no big deal, because it's like if you had a circular, a little bit more aggressive than a circular stud, you're gonna get some pretty good, traction moving forward and backward. That's gonna be no problem. So moving forward and backward like this is gonna be great. But from the standpoint of a pivot power, it's really no big deal. So I think these are gonna be suitable for most pitches. I know that the AG model of this football boot is definitely more conical studs. It's very, very AG as opposed to these boots, but I do think that this stud pattern is going to be just fine on AG, and I'll obviously do a 1 month review because these actually do fit my foot pretty well. So I'll end up doing a 1 month review on these, do like a proper play test in them as well. You guys will probably see those videos. Touch on the ball for the Alpha is really fantastic. I think the ability for this upper to wrap your foot and give you a really nice touch on the ball. It's super barefoot. You've got that little padding from the padded internal cage, which I've mentioned several times before, that gives you both structure and that little bit of extra padding on the upper. Feels really nice on feet. The sole plate and that Carvo insert gives you such a nice spring back, and I do think these are one of, if not the best speed boots on the market. As far as I'm concerned, my current favorites are those Asics DS Lite X Fly 5 special editions. Those are probably, I know they're technically not speed boots, but those would be my pick just because of the comfort level. But honestly, for a raw speed boot feel, these are pretty fantastic, and I'm so excited to start to wear these more regularly. I was really disappointed with how small those first colorway was, and I was really bummed because I really wanted to like the Alphas, and I should have just ordered true to size just to make sure and figure out what sizing. But here we are now with these awesome colorway of these black iridescent ones that I think just look absolutely fantastic, and I'm really excited to be able to test these. So if you're somebody with sort of thin feet all the way up to medium wide, I think you should fit really, really well in these. If you have super wide feet, I might not recommend these for for the super wide foot types. I might recommend something like that A6, or even going with a Morelia 2 from Mizuno, which is their classic leather boot, but it's as light as these ones are. So if you're interested and on the market for that, but you have wide feet, probably wouldn't go for these. But if you got like medium wide feet or you've got thin feet, you'll be totally fine. You could go true to size or even half size down if you've got thin feet. So that's kind of it. That sort of wraps up the review for the Alpha. I think this is a fantastic, fantastic pair of football boots. I'm so excited to finally get a pair that actually fits me well. And of course, as I always preach on this channel, this is something that I really, really, really think is important. You go fit first, and then you can talk about weight. You can talk about anything else that's on your mind for what you're thinking about for the football boot that fits you best. So as always, be awesome, guys. If you're interested in the Morelia 2 review, I'll leave it right here. Have a fantastic rest of your day.